Hi, everyone. I want to begin by reminding you of something that at times can be hard to grasp, but is so incredibly powerful when we truly understand it. God's timing is perfect. We often find ourselves anxious, restless, and impatient, questioning why things aren't happening the way we expect or when we want them to. We wonder if the universe is against us or if we've somehow missed the mark. But here's the truth. God's timing is never wrong. There's a plan even in the waiting, and the moments we think are delays are actually divine appointments. Today, I want to take you on a journey of understanding that when we trust God's timing, we unlock the peace, strength, and clarity to move forward, even when the path isn't clear. Because sometimes the best things come not when we demand them, but when we surrender and allow God to lead us at the perfect time. Delays are often perceived as setbacks, disruptions in our lives that can leave us frustrated, disheartened, and questioning the path we're on. In a world that celebrates instant gratification, waiting can feel like a form of punishment. Whether it's waiting for a promotion, a relationship to blossom, or a dream to come true, the waiting game often tests our patience and resolve. But what if I told you that these delays might not be obstacles at all? Instead, they could be divine redirections, guiding you towards something far greater than you could have imagined. What if, in the pauses and the holds, there is a plan unfolding? A plan that requires not just your persistence, but your trust in something beyond your understanding. When we face delays in life, it's easy to view them as disruptions, as if our efforts are being thwarted or that we're being punished for something. But we often forget that life is not simply a linear path. It's a series of moments, decisions, and experiences, many of which are not entirely in our control. There's an overarching force, a higher power, guiding us through the ebb and flow of life's circumstances. And while it can be difficult to see in the midst of frustration, those moments of pause may be precisely the times when we are being positioned for greater things. One of the biggest challenges with delays is that they don't always come with a clear explanation. We often don't know why things are happening as they are, or more importantly, why they aren't happening as we expected. In these moments, it's important to remember that God's timing is not like our own. We, as human beings, operate on a set schedule, a time-bound existence. We want things to happen quickly, efficiently, and according to our plans. But the universe, and especially divine timing, works in a way that we may not always be able to comprehend. The delays we experience may not be hindrances to our dreams. They could actually be the very thing that makes those dreams possible. The powerful truth about divine redirection is that it often comes at a time when we least expect it. In the moments when we feel most stuck, when we can't see how things will ever work out, and when the road ahead seems uncertain, it is in those moments that God is gently reminding us that our vision is limited and that His plan for us is far more expansive. The delay, rather than being a sign of failure, can be seen as an invitation to trust in something greater than ourselves. When the door closes, it might simply be guiding us toward a new opportunity, one that aligns more closely with our true purpose, one we couldn't have recognized before. It's natural for us to want immediate results, but this desire can sometimes blind us to the blessings that await us in the future. Delays give us time to refine our skills, to build our character, to develop a deeper understanding of ourselves, and to learn lessons that will be essential when we do finally step into the next chapter of our lives. Sometimes what we need most is not what we're asking for, but the wisdom, patience, and resilience that come from waiting. If we can learn to trust the process, we begin to see that these pauses are preparing us for something bigger, something more meaningful. When we trust that delays are divine redirections, we also begin to understand that timing is everything. The lessons we learn during our waiting periods are often the very things that equip us for the challenges ahead. We may not understand why we are waiting, but if we lean into faith, we begin to see how everything in our life is intricately connected. The seemingly inconsequential moments and delays are all working together to prepare us for what lies ahead. Take, for example, the story of someone looking for a job. They apply for position after position, but face repeated rejections. Frustration mounts and doubt creeps in. But perhaps that delay in securing a job is not a reflection of their qualifications or abilities. Perhaps it's simply that the right opportunity is yet to come, the job that is a perfect fit for their talents and passions, or one that will bring them into contact with people who will change their lives. Maybe it's a job that won't just provide a paycheck, but will set them on a new path, leading them to an entirely different purpose than they ever imagined. In these moments, it is easy to feel defeated, but by trusting that the delay is divine redirection, we can approach the situation with renewed hope, knowing that the right door will open at the right time. Similarly, in relationships, people often find themselves waiting for love or for their relationships to develop into something deeper and more fulfilling. They may experience heartbreak, loneliness, or confusion, wondering why things aren't progressing as they had hoped. However, sometimes those delays, those periods of heartache or solitude are there for a reason. Perhaps they're allowing us the time we need to grow as individuals, to heal from past wounds, or to prepare ourselves for a relationship that is truly aligned with who we are becoming. The love that is meant for us may not be arriving on our timetable, but that doesn't mean it won't arrive at the perfect time. By trusting in the timing of our lives, we release the pressure to force things to happen before their time. The key to navigating life's delays lies in our mindset. When we resist the timing of our lives, we create internal conflict, tension, and anxiety. But when we embrace the notion that delays might be divine redirections, we open ourselves to new possibilities. We begin to see that just as we wouldn't try to rush the growth of a seed into a tree, we shouldn't try to force our own development or timeline. Growth takes time, and with each delay, we are growing into who we are meant to be. This mindset shift requires a deep trust in something greater than ourselves. It's easy to be caught up in the illusion of control, to believe that we can dictate the course of our lives. But the truth is that the universe often has a better plan than we could ever conceive on our own. When we trust that the delays are guiding us towards something greater, we relinquish our need to control every aspect of our journey. This is where faith comes in. Faith that even when we cannot see the whole picture, the pieces are falling into place in ways we cannot yet understand. The process of surrendering to divine timing is not about passivity. It is about active trust. It is about showing up each day, doing our best, and allowing ourselves to be open to the opportunities that unfold, even if they look different from what we expected. The detours in our lives, the moments of waiting, are not a sign that we are being punished, but rather that we are being guided towards something more profound than we could ever have imagined. These delays are not dead ends. They are simply redirections that lead us toward a greater purpose, a more fulfilling destiny. In conclusion, trusting that delays are divine redirections is an invitation to embrace life as it unfolds, rather than fighting against it. It is a call to surrender to the wisdom of divine timing, knowing that everything has its place and its time. The delays, the waiting, and the pauses in our lives are not hindrances, but opportunities for growth, reflection, and preparation. If we can trust that God's timing is perfect, we can move through life with peace, knowing that we are always being guided towards something greater. Patience is a virtue that many of us strive to cultivate, especially when it feels as though we are waiting for something that is just out of reach. It's not always easy to be patient, particularly when life seems to move at a pace that is slower than what we hoped for. We live in a world of instant gratification, where technology, communication, and even food can be delivered within moments of desire. And yet, when it comes to the deeper, more meaningful aspects of our lives, such as our dreams, relationships, or personal growth, patience becomes the key to unlocking something far more profound than what we can achieve in the short term. Patience, especially when coupled with trust in God's timing, cultivates not only faith, but also resilience and growth. Faith is often tested in the waiting periods of life. When things aren't happening on our timeline, it's easy to feel disheartened, as if perhaps we are not on the right path, or that we're not good enough for the things we desire. In these moments, patience becomes the foundation upon which faith is built. We learn to trust that there is a greater plan unfolding, even when we don't have the full picture. Our faith in God's timing is not about passive waiting. It's about an active trust that what is meant for us will come to pass at the right time. Faith in God's timing isn't just about expecting things to work out when we want them to. It's about surrendering the need to control every detail of our lives. It's about recognizing that the path we are walking has already been mapped out for us, and that God, in his infinite wisdom, knows what is best for us. This kind of faith requires a deep, unwavering trust that God will make all things beautiful in his time, even when the waiting feels unbearable. We are often called to step out in faith when things don't seem to be aligning as we hoped. Patience, then, is the key that unlocks this kind of faith. It helps us to remain steadfast in our belief, that God is at work even when we can't see the fruits of our labor immediately. Resilience is another quality that patience nurtures. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties or setbacks. It is the strength to persevere even in the face of adversity. When we learn to be patient in the waiting seasons of life, we also learn resilience. Every delay, every struggle, and every time we feel that we are at the end of our rope, we are given an opportunity to build this resilience. It's through patience that we come to understand that life isn't always going to go as planned, and yet we can still rise above the challenges we face. Resilience isn't something we are born with. It is developed through experience. The more we endure, the stronger we become. Patience teaches us how to endure, how to wait with hope, and how to trust that what we are waiting for will eventually come. We may not know the exact timing or how it will unfold, but with patience, we learn that every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger. Resilience is not just about bouncing back. It's about learning to stand firm in the face of challenges, knowing that they are shaping us for the better. Patience also fosters personal growth. It helps us to slow down and reflect on who we are becoming in the process of waiting. Too often we focus on the destination, the end goal, without fully appreciating the journey. When we are waiting for something, it's easy to become frustrated with the pace of life and to feel that we are stuck. But patience allows us to shift our perspective. Instead of viewing waiting as an obstacle, we begin to see it as an essential part of the journey. The waiting season is where we are refined, where we are molded into the person we need to be in order to receive what is coming to us. During the times of waiting, we are given the chance to work on ourselves, to strengthen our character, and to build the qualities that will help us not only handle the blessings that are coming our way, but also appreciate them. Personal growth often happens in the quiet, unremarkable moments, in the times when we feel we are standing still. Patience allows us to see that even in the stillness, we are moving forward. We are evolving, developing, and preparing for what is to come. Growth requires discomfort. In fact, it is often the discomfort of waiting that propels us forward. Think about how a plant grows. It starts as a tiny seed planted deep in the soil. It is in the darkness of the soil that the seed starts its process of transformation. The seed doesn't know exactly when it will break through the surface, but it knows that if it continues to wait, it will eventually sprout. In the same way, patience and God's timing allows us to grow even when we can't see the immediate results. The discomfort we feel in the waiting is not a sign that we are failing. It is a sign that we are being shaped. Just like the seed in the soil, this kind of growth often involves challenges and moments of uncertainty. When we are patient, we open ourselves up to the possibility that these challenges are not there to break us, but to make us stronger. Patience teaches us how to keep going when things don't seem to be progressing, how to trust that the growth we are undergoing is happening beneath the surface. It's like the ice forming beneath the ocean's surface. We may not see it, but it is constantly shifting and changing. This hidden growth, this unseen transformation is just as important as the visible progress we eventually make. Furthermore, patience allows us to cultivate a sense of peace that is not dependent on our circumstances. When we trust in God's timing, we learn to embrace the seasons of life, knowing that each one serves a purpose. The season of waiting, the season of trials, and the season of triumph are all part of the same process. Patience helps us accept that not every moment will be filled with excitement or visible progress. Sometimes we are called to rest, to reflect, and to simply trust that everything is unfolding according to a greater plan. This sense of peace is crucial for our emotional well-being. It helps us remain grounded even when life feels uncertain. One of the most powerful things about patience in God's timing is that it shifts our focus from what we are waiting for to who we are becoming in the process. Patience teaches us to let go of the need to rush through life and to instead savor the moments of growth, the lessons learned, and the relationships formed along the way. It helps us to see that life is not just about reaching a destination, but about who we become on the journey. As we grow in patience, we grow in wisdom, understanding, and compassion. We become more in tune with God's plan for us, and we learn to trust that every delay, every moment of waiting is leading us to something better than we could ever have imagined. It's easy to forget in the midst of the challenges and delays that God's timing is perfect. His timing is never early and it's never late. It's always exactly what we need when we need it. Patience in God's timing helps us to align our will with his, to trust that the path he has set for us is the one that will lead to our greatest fulfillment. It's through patience that we learn to surrender our own timelines and trust in the wisdom of a higher plan. As we practice patience, we cultivate the faith, resilience, and growth that are necessary to walk confidently through life's seasons, knowing that God is always at work, even when we cannot see it.